the rate at which we are getting the forex and the cost and freight of the refined product does not allow us to land the refined product and sell at the price of 145, which we consider a fair price at this time in view of the economic situation of the country.
Now, give us an update on the subsidy arrears allegedly owed marketers.
What we have outstanding to us are foreign exchange differentials and interest payments, not quite subsidy arrears. Each time government devalues the naira, marketers are caught in between. When you're importing, you have an exchange rate which Triple PRA has stipulated, so you have exchange rate, you have costs, including freight of the petroleum product, which is, say, petrol in this instance. Then you now have all the operational expenses, be it MPA charges, be it the master charges, be it transshipment charges, and so on and so forth. But those ones are actually a constant. The ones that out of our control is actually the exchange rate. So government eventually pays us, makes a subsidy payment to us by issuing sovereign debt notes. And then the same week, the same government devalues. When these payments are made to us, you have to realize the fact that we import in dollars. We go to our banks, they give us a dollar line because these products come from foreign countries. So they give us a dollar line. We establish letters of credit with this dollar facility. The petroleum product arrives, we sell in naira. We have a shortfall that's also paid in naira. So what happens is the naira is warehoused in our bank. Once the funds are complete in naira, our banks are now required to defray what they call that past due obligation in forex. They now bid for forex through CBN. So that bid does not take place until the payments are made to us. So what has happened in the past is that each time subsidy payments are made to us, eventually when they're made to us, then there's a devaluation in naira. So for example, this last time, naira was 195 to the dollar when we were paid. No sooner than when we got paid, there was devaluation to 285. So between 285 and 195 is almost 100 naira to the dollar difference. Some of us today have exposures in the region of about 5 to 12 billion naira. These exposures right now, they are at best alarming. I am certain that when most of the banks, when their audit for year end are completed, these holes will be gaping. We've made spirited efforts with the Ministry of Finance. They paid us some of these differentials, which continues to accrue interest by the day. I think at last count, they paid us 20% of what was due. I believe that following the intervention of the Chief of Staff and the CBN Governor, they are looking at creative ways of how to resolve it.
What concrete proposals have been put on the table?
As of our last meeting, there's an initiative that perhaps they will issue a bond to our bankers that will cover our interest, foreign exchange differentials and interest rate payments till January 31st. And this bond or sovereign debt note will serve the purposes of meeting the required minimum cash reserve of our bankers with CBN. So that is what we've had that seems to be the most appealing. What the Honorable Minister of Finance had said also was that some marketers are either owing AMCON or owing PEF or owing government, so we should reconcile our positions so we can possibly do maybe a right of set-off or something like that, and then they can initiate this process of paying us. So that's where we are as of last week.
I've heard of preachers say that government should not continue to control the dynamics of importing fuel. How will complete deregulation help improve supply? Ideally,
that's where we should be today. Because what we call liberalization today is another name for semi-deregulation. Because government continues to play a part, NNPC is importing, we have a fixed ceiling of 145. CBN today is considering giving us a preferential exchange rate. They will be criticized for having multiple exchange rates by international bodies. Ideally, I should be able to buy my petrol, including my expenses, bring it to my tanks, sell it to off-takers or sell it to my petrol stations. As long as petrol is available at the pumps, we believe that Nigerians will be happy. However, against the backdrop of where we find ourselves today as a nation, we feel that Nigerians are being battered left and right. and that it will be very insensitive of marketers to begin to agitate for a price increase, which is what would actually allow us to be efficient. I mean, like I said, if today we were to go by the market, petrol will be selling at the pumps for a minimum of 167 to 170 naira per litre. Can the downtrodden Nigerians, can they accommodate, can they absorb, can they deal with 170 naira per litre today? That's a question for the economists and for heads of government to answer. But eventually, because I can assure you, yes, we're doing, NNPC is doing the DSDP, which is another name for swap, taking crude and bringing in refined products, making them available to us. First, that process is not efficient. Secondly, it implies there's a subsidy that's being warehoused somewhere.
Who's paying that subsidy?
There's no subsidy in the budget as we speak. That subsidy element will hit the FAC accounts. The governors will begin to agitate when they see that hole. That hole will continue to expand for as long as this continues to take place. So it's like being caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. What do? Do you increase the pricing, or do you continue to warehouse the subsidy, or do you continue to give us foreign exchange at a lower rate, and for how long can you do that? For example, say if the price of crude suddenly went up to like 65, we have a modulation that we did that shows the inverse relationship between the price of crude and forex. It's an inverse relationship. As the price of crude goes up, for me to sell at 145, the forex rate must come down. So, and we did that simulation till we go to $60 a barrel. Anything over $60 a barrel, you're probably going to almost be giving us forex at about 100 naira to the dollar. So, I mean, where is that going to come from? So really, realistically, the solution will be to actually let the cap of this 145 ceiling. We are hoping that with all the initiatives that government is embarked on, this economy will be stimulated, will be jump-started. A lot of job creation we would see. Disposable income of most people would improve. And when that happens, we can now gradually begin to modulate the price up. When we said this in May, it was not meant to be cast in granite. When we had the assumption that the exchange rate would be 285 and the price of crude was 45, it was meant to be modulated every 3 months. That was what it was predicated on, that every 3 months, when the price of crude changes, would notch it up maybe about another 5 naira, and even if it comes down, will come down another 5 naira. However, and that was assuming that the economic situation of the lot of the country would improve. But, I mean, it is what it is today. So we've not been able to modulate, and so in short, there's a subsidy element that is being warehoused by NNPC.